Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Power Up Gamers. I'm Driven D&D, the Disabled DM, and this is a video response to Tim Kearny from Tabletop Tables and Absolute Tabletop. A while back, he asked an interesting series of questions regarding races and tabletop RPGs. And he has 4 or 5 I've I've sure questions that he asked regarding them. And and I felt it deserved more than just a quick post. So I put it on my list and I finally am able to answer it for him. So the first question he asked regarding races is, which do you love? And I had to stop and think about this because I really enjoy playing different races at different times for different reasons. But there's usually 2 that I really love to play. The first being a Earth, and the second being a Dragonborn. The reason I like a Earth, one, I'm kind of used to the mentality of a Earth. They like to drink, they like to fight. They stand by those they consider their friends, and they pretty straight down to business. And I really enjoy that aspect of them. With Dragon Ball, the thing that fascinates me is they're not a typical humanoid race, but they're not a monster race either. So I often can play those as someone who's trying to find their place in the world. And I really enjoy that aspect, like where they don't quite fit in. And a lot of that has to do with being disabled, or I've always had to kind of find my own place in the world, so I understand what that's like, and the struggles that come with it. So I often enjoy playing that out through a Dragonborn. He then proceeds to ask, which do you hate? There's none that I really would say I hate, but there are a couple that I don't usually enjoy playing. One is a standard human, and the reason I don't enjoy this one so much is they're pretty common, and they're like, in most settings, they're the dominant race. They can go basically anywhere and do anything. And they're just kind of your jack of all trades. And while this can be fun, and at times, to me, it's harder to play those because there's such a variety among humans themselves. Another one that I would put under the which do you dislike or which do you hate, for me, a tiefling. And part of that comes from kind of the background that they're associated with demons and devils. They're not accepted at all in the typical society. To me, that's hard to play. Although I have found it enjoyable or at times to play that. But those would be the two that I would towards the dislike. I He then asks why the important or why the trivial, which I think I pretty much covered in my answers about why I dislike playing the races. Then he asks a question that I really had to stop and consider. And that question is, what part do races play in your game as an adventurer and as a GM? And part of what made me stop and think on this as a player, I don't really consider the unless I'm going to play one, such as a joke. Ask a little bit with the GM about how the role does play in the setting. To consider this is quite carefully, because too often I don't think about how the race would interact with other races, perceive things in the world, or given and the driven outlook on things or dragon born or whatever race we're playing. Too often I tend to go with, okay, this is how I would perceive it in this situation, and that bleeds over into it a lot. And it really shouldn't. It a character you should take the society, the setting, and come at it from that angle. Well, and I have been given this, but sometimes myself, still sliding into how would I perceive something if I was in that situation. Now, as the GM, is important because those are the people of your world. Oh, they're the ones that events and around. They're the ones that are making things happen. And they have ways of interacting, perceiving, that can add a lot of spice to it, if used properly. For example, it's pretty a standard fantasy trope almost that dwarfs don't like cooks. And then a lot of settings, elves. So that can add a whole nother into a character just by what race you choose. So I think I answered the questions pretty well. Well, I hope gets a bit of insight from this video as well as any others who view it. And I hope the rest of my viewers have enjoyed it as well. Oh, so until next time, may the dice always roll in your favor.